Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Voyager, Season 6, Episode 15, Tsunkatse. So this episode is completely a product of its time. Like, this is a the year 2000 episodes of Star Trek. Like, that's it. That's the end of the review right there. Boop. So it's basically completely built around the guest stars. And I actually feel like they got these guest stars and they were like, okay, now let's make an episode. Because it has Jeffrey Combs, who's one of my favorite actors. Like, he's fantastic. He was in like over 30 episodes of Deep Space Nine. That was over at this point. And of course, like the Reanimated series and stuff like that. J.G. Hetzler, who is also a very well-known Star Trek actor, again, in a ton of Deep Space Nine. And then, of course, The Rock, because why the fuck not? So, like, the episode starts with this big battle going on, featuring a Hydrogen, which I feel like we haven't seen them in a long time. So I was actually kind of impressed that they brought those characters back, because it's been so long, and Voyager has jumped years past where they should have been. Like, they've cut years off of their journey. So that's kind of interesting. And while they're doing this, like, big battle sequence, we see Tsunkatse and B'Elanna in attendance. So clearly, like, the Federation is okay with this because they're probably looking at it as, like, a battle, like, just a boxing match. In the meantime, basically everybody's on shore leave, and Janeway's going to go off, leaving Tsunkatse in charge, and Seven and Tuvok are going to go on an away mission also. And it's kind of interesting to see the two of them paired up. I've mentioned it over and over again how I really want to see Seven and the Doctor together, especially after the Virtuoso episode where Seven, like, gave the Doctor her fan letter about how she's glad he stayed and stuff like that. Like, that would have been the perfect relationship. But seeing Seven and Tuvok, I almost feel like the writers were teasing a relationship of those two, except for that Tuvok is married with children. So, but I think it was kind of weird seeing the two of them together. So anyways, of course the two of them get, like, basically kidnapped, and then we see, like, the I guess, main characters, the villains of the series. One is Jeffrey Combs, who is basically the guy who orchestrates this giant, like, battle arena. And J.G. Hetzler, who plays the Hydrogen, that is, like, the seasoned warrior. As soon as they started talking, I was completely distracted by their voices. Like, because they're so well known, I couldn't, like, I had trouble getting into this episode because I was so like, oh, I know who they are. Like, even through the makeup, like, all I saw was JG looking like a Klingon, and Jeffrey Combs has played, I think this is like his fourth or fifth character at this point. Well, let's see, Brun, Wei-Yun, the Kira guy, the hologram character. This is like his fifth character in Star Trek. So him, like, it didn't really like bother me that it's an alien, but knowing who it was, I was just like, oh, this is so cool. So I don't know, it was a positive and a negative. Sure enough, because Tuvok is injured, Seven has to battle to save him, and it's a bitchin' set. Watching like all of the people kind of in the stands, like, it was a really well done set. And then, of course, when The Rock comes out and he does his eyebrow thing that I can't do, I feel like this may have been his first big acting role. I could be completely wrong about that. I didn't look it up. Like, the first thing that kind of stands out to me would be, like, The Mummy 2, The Scorpion King. So I was not allowed to watch wrestling growing up. To kind of give you a little bit of my history, like, I had a very strict, sheltered life growing up, which is probably why I watch so much TV now, because I'm sure all of you are like, those who have subscribed, I feel so bad for it, because you're like, you did 10 episodes today, and I'm like, yeah, I drink and I watch TV. So, like, I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling. I wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers. I wasn't even allowed to watch Rugrats. Like, my family was so crazy strict, which is why I make up for it now doing kind of these nostalgic reviews. So anyway, so I really didn't have anything to base The Rock off of. Now, like, I've seen him in a lot of stuff, like, especially Fast and the Furious and all of his action movies. So I appreciate The Rock, or Dwayne The Rock Johnson as he is now. But, like, when this episode came out, I had no idea who he was. So it kind of stood out to me. And I didn't really have anything to base it off of. Watching him and 7 of 9 kind of fight, though, it was really interesting. Of course, Tsunkatse recognizes that she's there against her will, tries to beam her out. Oh, they're holograms, and just it's not working. Like, as the episode continues, where Tsunkatse basically has to kind of come to the rescue and, like, save them, but it doesn't quite work the way that it should be. And they finally find the fight, and it turns out that that's, like, the whole income of the planet. It's basically pay-per-view, and that they can't shut it down. So, of course, 7 ends up having to fight her teacher, the Hyrosian that's been showing her all of the moves throughout this. And it's a bittersweet fight where she doesn't want to do it, and he's like, either you're going to do it or I'm going to kill you. And he even tells her, like, you have to make the choice. Are you going to be a hunter or are you going to be prey? Which is great because, like, the first 2 episodes we see the Hyrosians is hunter and prey. I'm pretty sure it was. So that's kind of, I like that little shout out. Of course, like, Janeway shows up in the Delta Flyer, saves everybody, and then 7 is almost ready to kill him, but they beam them out at the last second. And so he even says, like, would you have done it? And she's like, I don't know. I think 7 would have killed him. Like, to save herself and to save Tuvok, I think that she would have killed the Hyrosian. That being said, her and Tuvok talking about how she hasn't lost her humanity because of it was a really kind of nice moment. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. Definitely a product of the year 2000, and it was kind of fun to see all of these little guest stars. For those who have seen this one, what did you guys think? Did it stand out to you? Do you remember it? Do you not? What did you think about seeing Jeffrey Combs, J.G. Hetzler? What did you think about seeing The Rock? Go ahead, let me know. Thank you guys for those who have subscribed. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time for The Collective.